The story opens with King Furukawa standing in a battlefield soaked in blood. His sword drips red, the sky burns crimson, and the world trembles under his overwhelming power. Dozens lie dead at his feet, and even warplanes bombard the city behind him, yet Furukawa sits on his throne, claiming himself the strongest king alive. But in the middle of this destruction, everything suddenly goes dark. Furukawa sinks into the deep void until a child's voice calls out to him. A golden light bursts open, and he awakens reborn as a baby in a completely new world. Two strangers stand before him, smiling warmly. The man introduces himself as Reynolds, and the woman as Alice, his new parents. Furukawa, the legendary king, is now trapped inside a helpless infant's body, unable to fight, unable to speak, forced to start life from zero. Days pass, and Makoto Furukawa's new name slowly realizes this world is filled with magic, mana, and powerful warriors. He watches his father summon energy strong enough to shatter boulders, and his mother heal wounds with glowing magic. For someone who once ruled a kingdom through force, this world feels both terrifying and exciting. Makoto studies everything around him. Even as a toddler, he observes weapons, magic, and people with the mindset of a king. And one day, while secretly practicing mana control in the library, he accidentally releases a huge burst of energy so strong that it blows apart the room. His parents rush in, terrified, only to find their 3-year-old child floating in the air, wrapped in pure mana. For the first time, Makoto realizes something he never had in his past life: parents who would risk everything to protect him. And that overwhelming warmth makes him cry for the first time. Now we dive into King Furukawa's past life. A captured man begs Furukawa to spare his wife and child, but Furukawa executes them without hesitation. No mercy, no emotion. And just like that, we return to Makoto's new life. Makoto trains with his father, Reynolds. Even at 4 years old, Makoto refuses heavy gloves and picks up a wooden sword instead. When Reynolds shows a mana technique, Makoto copies it, instantly breaking his father's weapon in one strike. His talent shocks everyone. Reynolds wants to hire a teacher, Alice refuses, and their argument only ends when Makoto calmly tells them to go together. They call him a genius, which honestly, he is. Soon the caravan arrives, including Adam, Jasmine, Helen, Angela, and Durden. Their journey barely begins before a pack of wolves attacks. Jasmine steps forward and slaughters them effortlessly, proving her insane power. The rest of the party joins in earth magic, wind blades, arrows. Makoto watches everything, absorbing knowledge, but danger keeps rising. At night, Alice struggles to breathe. Reynolds discovers a wound. Alice uses her rare healing magic, something so valuable that people kill healers to steal their abilities. This is why they've been hiding. Adam later tests Makoto in a duel. Makoto boosts his speed with mana, shocking the entire group before Jasmine saves him from falling. She immediately demands, "Teach me how you did that," refusing to take no for an answer. The next day, training continues: spear basics, archery, and combat footwork. Jasmine even gifts Makoto a dagger with a hidden wire for his birthday, something that genuinely softens him. But peace ends quickly. Bandits ambush the caravan, arrows fly. The party fights hard, but their numbers are overwhelming. Reynolds is hurt. Alice collapses because she's pregnant. Before Makoto can react, Reynolds tells him, "Protect your mother. I trust you, big brother." Makoto activates his mana and escapes with Alice, but a mage on a cliff launches a deadly spell. Makoto senses it and pushes Alice away, getting hit himself. Falling into the abyss, Makoto throws Jasmine's wire dagger upward, pulling the mage down with him. Darkness surrounds him, something massive approaches, and a deep voice says, "Good morning, Makoto." Face to face with a massive, terrifying female beast, he panics and attacks, but she easily blocks him and knocks him back with just 2 fingers. Instead of killing him, she calmly tells him he still has a long way to go and calls herself his colleague, which completely confuses him. She then gathers glowing fruits from a tree, makes him eat, and lets him know the truth he's dying to hear. She can't leave this place, but she has checked from afar and his parents are alive and safe. Hearing that, Makoto finally breaks down in tears of relief and thanks her. She tells him her name, Sylvia. Days pass. Makoto's injuries heal, but he can't leave yet. Sylvia explains that they're near the edge of the Elshire Forest, a region full of mana beasts and bandits, and opening a dimensional rift to send him home needs preparation. Until then, he has only one job: get stronger. Makoto trains non-stop with a wooden stick and mana cultivation. Sylvia shows him a different way to use mana, not just gathering and then spending it, but letting it flow naturally like breathing. She asks what he wants power for. At first, his mind goes straight to revenge on anyone who tries to take his family away, and she rejects that answer, warning him that filling his heart with death and hatred will only turn him into a monster again. When she asks a second time, he finally gives the right answer. He wants power to protect the people he loves. This time, she accepts. But their time together is almost over. A powerful male dragon-like being tracks Sylvia down, following the scent of her blood. Just as he arrives at the cave, Sylvia suddenly shoves Makoto into a crack in the rocks, and his mana barrier keeps him safe and hidden. Outside, the two titans clash. The enemy demands Sylvia return with him. She refuses. Their battle shakes the entire area. Sylvia forces out her true, shining form and uses a terrifying magic that can even freeze time for a moment. In that frozen instant, she calls Makoto to her, reveals that she is a dragon, opens a portal, and gives him 3 gifts: a mysterious egg, one of her feathers to wrap it with, and a special power that appears as glowing tattoos on both his hands. She asks what he'll do with the strength she shared, and he repeats that he will protect the ones he loves. He also tells her that he doesn't care if she's a dragon or a monster to him. She's family. When he calls her his grandmother, Sylvia is so happy she can't even speak for a moment. Even so, she doesn't go with him. She pushes Makoto into the portal while he cries and begs her to come along. The portal drags him away as he clutches the egg wrapped in her feather. Time resumes, and the male dragon's final attack slams into Sylvia. Fatally wounded, she uses one last, suicidal blast that wipes out both him and a huge part of the area. Somewhere far away, Makoto reappears outside with the egg in his bag, tears streaming down his face as he remembers his dragon grandmother's sacrifice and blessing. Just when he pulls himself together and gets ready to move, he hears footsteps behind him, turns around. Makoto hearing a blood-curdling scream in the forest. Channeling mana to his legs, he races through the trees, leaping to find the source. He discovers a group of slave traders holding a terrified elf girl. They are planning to sell her for a high price. Makoto is furious, but remembers Sylvia's lesson: control your rage. Makoto decides to act. After observing them set up camp, he uses nearby hunting dogs as a distraction. When a bandit brutally kicks a dog to silence it, Makoto snaps. He creates a sharp mana blade and swiftly eliminates the first 2 bandits in silent, lethal takedowns. The third bandit, the powerful mage captain, realizes a child magician is behind the attack. The captain prepares his attack, calling Makoto a valuable golden ticket. The resulting fight is brutal. Makoto is hit with a devastating kick, badly injuring him. But in desperation, Makoto instinctively condenses his mana and unleashes flames of power he didn't know he possessed. This burns and defeats the captain. Makoto finishes him, then the final bandit, ending the threat. Makoto rushes to the slave carriage. He removes the elf girl's blindfold and is stunned by her appearance. Her name is Tesha Iralith. Tesha is frightened, but Makoto reassures her that the bad guys are gone. Seeing her vulnerability, and reflecting on his loneliness as Grey, Makoto agrees to guide Tesha home. They begin their journey. They share a meal. Tesha finds Makoto's plain boiled meat disgusting, a subtle reminder of their differing worlds. Makoto notes her childlike behavior, like being delighted by forest fireflies, and realizes she is a mirror for him to learn how to be a child again. Their bond grows, despite Makoto having a severe stomach ache after eating mushrooms Tesha suggested. Finally, they reach the elven border. Tesha interacts with an ancient tree, revealing a hidden teleportation gate. They step through, but immediately Makoto is surrounded and captured by the elven army. Makoto is shocked. Tesha stands there innocently, confirming he walked straight into a trap. Host voiceover, what just happened? Did Tesha betray Arthur? Or is there more to this trap? Hit like and subscribe to find out in the next recap. Sayonara.